Hello and welcome back. Today we are going to be reviewing something else for the PS5. As the PS5, once again, is one of those consoles of the moment. Very hard to get your hands on one, and so anything that we can do to cover, we will. Today we're going to do a double review. The other review I'll include, well, the other is not really a review, it's just going to be me making some commentary and just letting people know about some sales that I'm coming across. First and foremost, I've come across this Ps5 Controller Skin. I think these were under $5. These are Anko branded, Ps5 Controller Skin, and it includes controller and thumb grip skins. Yeah. Obviously not the controller itself, and it says PS5 not included. In this box. I think they meant controller. Now, cutting into it is nothing much. They didn't really put anything into it. I just had to cut to make sure. Very light. Like, we're talking the whole box in total, according to my scale here, putting it back to 0, 60 grams. So very light whole box, so I don't expect there to be too much in here. Packaged alright, again no breakables as far as I'm concerned, so that's the first and most important bit. Let me just rip that open and get to the good stuff. So I'm expecting to see two other things in here, in the box separately. So what we have is this and that. What I like is the fact that they managed to create the holes and everything for ports. I'm guessing microphones and everything, will be included. So this is basically what it looks like unboxed. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add a controller. From my previous review, I still had one of these expandable batteries or battery packs. I wanted to see exactly how do we go about actually putting one of these on. Not that we need a manual or anything, but I'm just hoping we don't trigger anything the wrong way while going in. Accidentally hit the share button. I don't know how to feel about this, you know. I feel like my controller my controller is either Batman or is into bondage and roleplay, you know. It's very weird. Very weird. Spandex instead of silicone. But alright, I dig it. It's alright, a bit crimpy. Let's see. Wrinkles. But there we go. Things are lining up a little bit better. You know, you have to really mold these things according to your image and how you want it to feel and cover you. Does it add any extra grip? Not really. I've got another controller, by the way. I'll come back to that in a second. But for the most part, that looks really good for this particular color scheme. I kind of like it, you know. It inspires me to want to debrand or do something with my controller, but you still can access most ports. They're a little bit shallower now. But in terms of travel, the essential keys, I think you're good to go. Okay, don't think that you're missing out. Again, the purpose of these is not to waterproof your unit. The purpose of these are mainly just to, I guess, extend the life of the shell. You know, people eating things and doing all sorts of things and then touching the controller, so you don't want to stain it, scuff marks and things like that in case you drop it. It kind of gives your controller some level of protection. I don't know much about thumb grips. Again, I'm not necessarily well versed in my shooters and whatnot, but geez, these skins are hard to put on, but that might be good, because then that means they're hard to come off when they're there. So give me a second as I try to get these on point. Oops. Oh, look at me, I'm halfway there. Jeez. Living on a prayer up in here. Jeez, that's hard. feel like I have to disassemble the thumbstick just to get to it. I hope my stick doesn't suffer from Joy-Con drift after all this. There we go. It's not quite cinched in yet. Better, I think. Yeah, better. So we've got one there. And that feels, compared to the two, that feels pretty good. Gives you a little bit extra. That feels pretty good, man. I'm not going to lie. Again, my controller just became Batman, you know. Or at least some level of some bondage. It's joined some fetish society at this point, you know. It's pretty good. My S&M controller, I'm going to like that. Now it makes me wonder what the other controller is going to look like. And I'll talk about that other controller in a minute. As I said, these aren't meant to be like a way to waterproof your controller or help it last longer in that traditional sense. There we go. Again, these are hard to put on, but once they actually get on, they look pretty good and they're solid. Ooh. Oh, there you go. We just tested it. We just drop tested it. I'm not going to throw it off I'm not going to throw it off any higher than that. That's for sure. But generally, look, for the most part, this is what you're going to get. You still need to access all your ports. If it had covered the whole way, unless there was a way to zip it up or something. Microphone is there. Everything that you need is there. It does what it needs to do, man. It does what it needs to do. And it feels good in the hand, you know. It feels good in the hand compared to this. Now, I'm going to put this aside for a second and to discuss controllers. Now, please pardon I don't want to say hideous color because I like the color. It's pretty good. I forget what this is, cosmic red or whatever it's called. To me, it's like the purple from my Aero Jams, which are my sneakers, my Converse sneakers from back in the day. I really like it. Okay. I didn't necessarily want this color. I would have preferred the generic white because I've got a white console. But I ended up just saying to myself, you know what? At least that way, if we're playing like player 1 and player 2, or someone finds their particular controller, they are not going to fight over them, number one. And number two, we know what we're dealing with, you know, so that's a good way to tell them apart. Maybe one day I'll conform and get a second controller. We don't know with this generation how long these controllers last. But these current controllers, one thing that I will say is a brand new controller at the moment of this variation, I think is about $110. And I think these newer colors go for I think close to 130 or 150. I'll clarify that in a second. Give me a second. Let me clarify that. DualSense controller. So currently the DualSense controller in Australia for the Cosmic Red is $120. My bad. On average. And then for the regular generic white controller, you're looking at about $90, brand new. Okay? And in some cases, if you're lucky, you get one bundled with a game or something like that. And that's cool. You know, no disrespect to that. I'm pretty happy with that. Now, I will say some areas, like you can even find them for $95, some $85. Other places, $99. Again, each to their own. These prices are all over the place, and online sellers are obviously going to be different from your localized sellers. So let's just bear that in mind. But in a local store or something like that, you're looking at least paying $100 for a regular generic controller. And then for these other controllers, you're looking at $120. So you pay about $20 more on average, yeah? And if you find them on special or something like that, you get something with a game or something if you're lucky and there's a promotion. Now, what I was going to say, when it comes to these controllers, here this says pre-owned $88. That's not actually true. I bought these controllers, or this controller rather, secondhand for about $63 at my local EB Games. There's a current promotion at the moment. Hell, there's a promotion where I think you can hand in 2 of your old DualShock 4s for one of these, if I'm not mistaken. If not, I think maybe you hand in a DualShock and maybe put $20 on top extra and you're good to go. So there are multiple promotions there. That's what I was going to talk about because I just didn't feel like a video of this alone would warrant a full video. So I thought I'll discuss this Ps5 controller as well. And again, another thing that I was going to say was, before I forget, this doesn't affect the charger in any way. It still continues to charge and do what it needs to do. So that's pretty good. It still looks good aesthetically. So it didn't completely block out anything that needed to be blocked out. Had it even still had the silicone pocket up to about here, it would still done the job. You can still touch your pads and whatnot. The only thing that will probably get dirty is that and maybe some of the buttons eventually. But in terms of just it itself, okay. For that price point, $5. I wish it was maybe 2 for $6 or something like that. I think it would work. But again, you're getting thumb grips and a few other bits and pieces, so works out great, especially for people who like shooters, racers, and things like that. And that's cool. I wish you could get some extended triggers too, for some. But for this price point, I would say if you're looking to get into a controller, again, we're not sure about Joy-Con drift. This was tested. I got this recently. This was tested in March, so I'm going back to about maybe a month or so ago. I haven't had any problems with it, but in saying that, I haven't used it every day compared to my other controller. And so far, no problem. They're saying that they're tested, which is great. And I also checked the serial numbers just to make sure. These ones, obviously, being the newer colors, these ones came with the problems already checked out. So I'm even surprised to be finding this. Whereas these ones, you actually really have to go back and actually compare notes to see which version of the controller is which and what time it came, because some of them have been known to have Joy-Con drift. But this one will probably look really good in black. So in saying that, while we're here, I might as well dress up this baby up and see how we go. Because maybe that's what it needs. So I have a second, which I picked up. Because I sold them, like I said, for $10 each. I figured, you know what, that's a good deal. If I needed extra triggers and things like that, that could be something else. I think I've seen trigger packs for $3 or something like that, which I can always do a video, a review and add on to this particular video later. I just wish that there was an easier way to get these in, you know. Because I always feel like some of these are a little bit flimsy, and the last thing that I want to do is damage one, especially while reviewing it and trying to actually get people to buy. And I hope I just didn't switch on my console just now. Because I'm not trying to press any buttons without actually seeing what's going on the screen and following the prompts. Or maybe I haven't even synced the controller yet. Again, under warranty, so I'm not worried too much. That actually looks pretty good. I'm kind of digging it. You know, to me, it's the Rebel controller. You know, it's the one that stands out a lot. So I think that's one of the reasons why I just said, you know what, I'll cave. I was going to initially get a generic white one, and because I don't think I'm changing the color scheme. I've been tempted to change the color scheme of my console, but then I don't want to touch it too much. Only thing I want to do is mess around with hard drives and other things that I need to expand, but not really mess around with the console itself too much as of now. Again, in 5 years' time or something like that, maybe. So that's what it looks like. I think that's pretty good. The only thing that will obviously stand out is when I eventually dress it up and put you know, the white batteries. That's where the only thing that stands out. If I could paint the battery color, I probably will. I'll airbrush it or something and see what that looks like. Maybe that might be the next way to go, just so that way at least, you know, I can tell there's a distinction between the battery packs as well, and then commit to the change. We'll see. Like I said, these are a little bit harder to put on, but let's give them a crack. Well, I can tell you that once they're on, I just don't see them leaving anytime soon. And this one had some thumbsticks that were a little bit dirty, so and once they're in, it's just really hard to get them to that last bit. There we go. It's in all the way. And last but not least, Okay, so with that being said, this is what it looks like. So Batman and Robin, huh? My fetishized controllers. What do you think? Or maybe we'll have a dome and a sucker. I don't know what to make of these controllers, but I think, you know what, they look pretty good. Different. Now they feel like completely different units. And I'll let you know. I'll let you know how they go. Maybe we'll do a follow-up in a few months' time and see how we go. I'll tell you how the console itself is going. I will be discussing a few more things soon. Before you think that my channel is biased, I do have a Nintendo Switch that I will be reviewing soon. I've got some accessories for it, rather, that I want to cover. This one, the reason why I actually have it open at the moment is it's refusing to switch on. So I'm trying to work out what's going on. Could it be water damage? Could it be my charging port? Or is there something else going on? It could be a battery. I'll let you guys know, and once I know, I'll be able to cover some. Some accessories for them: screen protectors, cases, charging cases, you name it. We'll talk soon, and I'll get back to you. I just didn't want to let you guys think that I'm just limited to PlayStation stuff only. I do have a lot of stuff in the bag, and we'll cover it as time progresses. Yeah. So please bear with me, and. Once again, I will see you in the next one. Peace.